What are the criteria for canceling or postponing or delaying a game when there's a thunderstorm in the area?
So for canceling or postponing a game lightning wise, MLB does not have a rule like the NCAA. So we're kind of worried about anything within the 4 to 5 mile radius. And that's when we'll start to post things on the stadium scoreboard. Want to head to shelter, move away. But there is not an MLB standard. We've played on with a lot of lightning going on in the distance.
What strikes me is the number of people that don't realize that you cannot have thunder without lightning and vice versa. There's still this perpetual perception error that exists among the public that, well, I'm safe as long as I don't see lightning. If I see lightning, then I'm in danger. I was asking the kids today, well, if you hear thunder, are you still at risk? And probably 1/2 to 2/3 of the kids said, oh, I'm still safe. That's what the public thinks as well. That's what adults think. And that's also, I think, what people who are in charge of making decisions on the playing field think. We have to somehow educate them to the point where they realize if you hear thunder, you're at risk for electrocution. Every thunderstorm is a potential killer. We lose close to 40 people a year in the United States unnecessarily due to lightning strikes. I think this is an avenue that we really have to hit strong, particularly outdoor venues, sporting events, outdoor festivals. This is an avenue that we really need to work towards improving our safety and also our education.
It's interesting to me that there's not more of a almost political side that gets involved in this. I mean, imagine if we didn't regulate smoke detectors and things like that at buildings and we just let people do whatever they wanted. I'm surprised there hasn't been more of a push from state legislators or something like that to say, hey, there needs to be a policy in place for games and things like this.
I think once you issue a policy, then you're starting to infringe on someone's right to be an idiot, frankly. Let me tell you an experience that I had a couple years ago when my son was playing soccer at the high school level. I knew there were thunderstorms around that afternoon when he was playing. So when he finally got home, I said, did you guys play the entire game? And he said, yes, we did. And my question was, did you see lightning or did you hear thunder? Yeah, we did. And did you still play? Yes, we did. And I said, well, why? Well, because the referee didn't call the game. They wanted to finish the game. So I immediately wrote a note to both the head coach and the assistant coach. And I said, you just put 10, 20, 30 people at risk for electrocution. Was that necessary? Well, that wasn't our call. That was the referee's call. We need to step up and take ownership for this problem.
Yeah, I want to get in on this too, because it seems like it's really interesting because across the spectrum of professional and really collegiate sports has got, their policies, but the PGA has really stepped up to, keep everyone on the golf courses safe. And it'd be nice to see, Major League Baseball, NFL, and some others take notes from them and copy what they're doing.
Several years ago, when I was working at the Weather Channel, I was able to go out to a PGA tournament the week before the Masters. And what struck me during that event was the vans available at every hole for the players to seek safety, but there was no plan for all of the people watching that event.
Ricky, you and I, we do some work with Speedway Motorsports Incorporated, and we have yearly meetings with our racetracks that we work at, and we set criterias depending on the event. If it's a big NASCAR event, we have 3 barriers per se. We have something that we're watching, and then once it gets in within, let's say 10 miles of the area of the track, we have notified all the officials that need to be notified, and we are enacting evacuation. So when we see lightning strike within 8 miles of our facility, that's it. We're done. Ricky, last year comes to mind, the Coca-Cola 600. We're right beside NASCAR's booth, and we're watching radar, and they're communicating with us. And once the lightning hit within 8 miles, we gave them an X. And about that time, the caution flag came out. The cars came down pit road and the red flag was issued. And it was maybe 10, 15 minutes before we actually saw the rain move in. But by then we were able to get 95% of the folks out of the speedway into a safer place. And very thankful that NASCAR and Speedway Motorsports takes weather seriously, and it just, again, we talk about this a lot. Unfortunately, with Major League Baseball, I'm afraid something major is going to have to happen before we start to see some change implemented there.
It's interesting that with MLB, the decision still comes down to the umpire, as far as I understand. That's the deciding factor, is the one guy out there who gets to make the decision. It's no one else who maybe has more data, is more informed or anything. MLB's enacted the replay in New York City. Why can't they set up a weather monitoring system or hire a company like, many that are out there to monitor all their games that are ongoing?
It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely, to me too. I mean, so Phil from Stormfront Freaks works for athletics at Miami University in Ohio, and I know he's talked about this, about what they've been trying to do there, for their outdoor sports and trying to protect it. But it's amazing to me at all levels how when you mentioned interfering with people's rights to be stupid. I used to officiate or umpire youth baseball and softball games. And on more than one occasion, I called a game and canceled it and said, everybody go home. And the abuse I got sometimes from the parents for doing that is, let them play one more inning. I could see cloud to ground lightning. And I said, we can't be out here. But it's amazing how many people said, just, we can, we'll get one more inning in, no problem. And I went, no, this, talk to me after we get like you say, get a lightning strike and somebody dies or somebody gets injured from it. It's amazing.
I emceed the 4th of July fireworks here in Bristol a couple years ago, and we were expecting a line of thunderstorms to move in. I gave them 30 minutes heads up. Hey, this is going to be here at this time. And even being a local meteorologist, everyone kind of looked at me like, oh, okay, whatever. Band kept playing, and we gave them 15 minutes and gave them a 10-minute heads up. I was like, if you don't want to get wet, you better move now. And the thing that caused everyone to run for their lives was a gigantic lightning strike and a thunder clap right over our heads. And it's just one of those things where it's like, no one will do anything until it starts raining. So
I think it goes back also to the whole notion of it won't happen to me. A lot of the hot topic stuff with weather warnings across the entire spectrum, whether it's severe thunderstorm, tornado warnings, just people not taking warnings seriously, and that goes right in with lightning also.